The M. Justin Herman Memorial Award was established in 1975 to provide a living acknowledgement for the standard of excellence that M. Justin Herman demonstrated in the field of housing and community development. Today I am very honored to preside over the bestowing of the 2015 M. Justin Herman Award to a great steward, someone who over his 30-plus years, not quite 40, 30-plus years created a culture, at the Housing Authority at the City of Santa Barbara that resulted in beautifully designed housing, inclusive opportunities for the city's most frail. He also pushed for more than just his city. His purpose, his drive, was to make sure that the housing industry in California and nationally was based on principles of justice and equity. Our award winner truly embodies what M. Justin Herman's career symbolized: dedication, perseverance, and excellence. So I want to talk very quickly about some of the things that Rob has done, and you have to know Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara's housing costs are notoriously amongst the highest in the nation, with a current rental housing vacancy that is half of 1%. Rob has met this challenge with passion and ingenuity, resulting in the development of California's first dedicated end-of-life care for AIDS patients, the development of a transitional housing facility for the chronically homeless, a low-income housing development for seniors with built-in comprehensive services, the development of a workforce housing complex that includes 15 units for emancipated youth, the development of affordable housing for a mixed population, workforce, and the disabled, and the development of Santa Barbara's first permanent year-round shelter and day center for the homeless. Rob isn't just at the Housing Authority and in housing, he's embedded in his community. He serves through he has served on the boards of a local housing or local homeless organization, the local hospital board, an AIDS housing organization. He also served as president of the board of a nonprofit corporation that supports individuals with developmental challenges and thus enables them to live full lives in the comfort and safety of their own home. He's one of the 3 original incorporators of the nonprofit Housing Trust Fund of Santa Barbara, which was founded more than 10 years ago to help solve the community's critical need. So to summarize, Rob Pearson's career reflects the height of excellence in our industry. That is why I'm pleased to bestow Robert Grant Pearson the 2015 M. Justin Memorial Award. And to introduce the award winner, please welcome the Honorable Mayor Helen Schneider, City of Santa Barbara.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
Thank you very much for this honor this morning, this great opportunity to introduce one of my heroes, Rob Pearson. And Preston, you did a great job linking the goals of this prestigious award with the accomplishments of our dear friend. So now I get to tell a little bit to you about Rob Pearson, the person. First off, he's a bit intense. By that, I mean he's passionate, dedicated, loyal, and determined. When discussing policy, when promoting projects, when developing his team, when enjoying his family and friends. Have you ever played tug-of-war with a dog determined to get that rope from you? You may just be playing around, having a little fun, maybe not focusing really on what you're doing, not the dog. That dog's eyes are focused, his hind legs dug in, a little growl perhaps. That's Rob. But then when you're done playing, drop the game, the dog is just as cheerful as ever, ready to go at it again, or not, and just instead chill out with you. That's Rob too. I first met Rob about 15 years ago at a forum about the housing market situation in Santa Barbara. I was a human resources director at a local nonprofit organization where focusing on the recruitment and retention of quality employees was the #1 issue we talked about with my local peers. Rob was a panelist at the event, giving some kind of impassioned speech, and I was compelled to meet him afterwards. Fast forward about a year later, I become a commissioner of the City Housing Authority. What an eye-opener. Not only learning about affordable housing issues within the city of Santa Barbara, but how national policy and funding, or the lack of it, directly affects our local community and really the basic well-being of seniors, veterans, people with disabilities, chronically homeless individuals, and low-income families. I cannot remember a time when the City Housing Authority was not working on a specific new housing project, and Rob had a way, as was mentioned, of figuring out exactly what was the emerging issue. Needing senior housing with some kind of assisted services in the mid-1990s, Garden Court, 98 studio units, and looks like a bed and breakfast in Santa Barbara. Rehabbing an older apartment complex for families, Paseo Voluntario. Workforce housing, Casa de las Fuentes. Permanent supportive housing for chronically homeless individuals, El Carrillo. And what about a place for emancipated foster care youth? You bet, Artisan Court. You get the point. The amazing part of all this is that in a city like Santa Barbara, where really design review is an art form in both policy and politics, these projects generally sail through the process. Rob's able to convince neighbors, elected leaders, city planners, the media that yes, you can both provide affordable housing in a beautiful way to people in need and also keep the small town soul of our community intact. Of course, he does not do this alone. He's the first person to tell you that. His team is simply incredible. The employees and partners associated with Santa Barbara City Housing Authority are a very talented group of individuals who generally want to make a difference, and they do. They also do it while having fun and enjoying each other. And the camaraderie of that strong group of people is really quite astonishing to see each and every day. That happens in very large part to Rob's leadership. Finally, Rob looks beyond the four walls of the Housing Authority and various developments and into the core issues that lead the need for affordable housing and national policies. He's a financial guru. He knows how to navigate any HUD, state, or local financial plan or whatever. I'm astonished every time I hear it. State and local funding regulations, he's like a computer in his head. It's actually quite astonishing listening to him figure out how to finance certain projects and even create opportunities for energy efficiency housing programs. How cool is it to see solar panels on an affordable housing project? He also focuses on the big picture as it relates to providing a home for those in need, the role of mental illness and mental health services, accessibility to detox facilities, creating financial literacy among his tenants. His 2 minutes during public comment at times sound like a sermon. His newest topic, short-term vacation rentals. Watch out. It's his combination of compassion with a dose of reality and basic know-how to get things done. He's also a dear friend, a loving soul, and an incredible dad and grandfather. It's a distinct honor to introduce to the stage this year's M. Justin Herman Memorial awardee, Rob Pearson.
They are my three grandchildren, George, Becker, and Pearson. And along with my amazing two daughters, Lindsay and Marisa, my son-in-law, Paul. Max couldn't be here. My brother, Daniel, my sister, Dorielle, a host of family and friends who said that they couldn't miss this event when they heard I was getting the award. So I want to thank them. I want to call out Barbara Allen, a commissioner. Barbara Allen used to be on the East Coast. She was a city council person in Summit, New Jersey. She was a housing authority commissioner there. When she came to Santa Barbara because her husband was recruited at UCSB as a physics professor, she told the mayor then that what she wanted to do was be on the Housing Authority Commission, and we have benefited greatly from her service. Thank you, Barbara. The most important thanks I have are to my colleagues. I never call them my staff. I don't own them. They come to work every day to work alongside me as colleagues, and that's the term that we use in our organization. And if I've done anything to deserve this award, it's to be able to attract hardworking, very talented, just competent people who share my passion and compassion for the work that we do in helping those less fortunate. That value was instilled in me at a very early age by two very different people, my parents. And while they divorced at 14, they always made sure I was loved, that my education and my welfare were key, and that there is a duty to help others. So I got that from two great, incredible people that made sure, even after the divorce, that we were well taken care of. And they managed to produce 5 of us. And my mother, I'll give you a little story about her, but she came to this country. She's an immigrant from Honduras, Central America, at the age of 28, and managed to have 5 children with my dad between age 31 and 44, and be a school teacher till she was 75. But she came to this country specifically to learn English in 1948, and having been a school teacher in Honduras, and I can remember that her early words to me were Roby. I didn't think she had an accent, but she called me Roby. She's the one person who could get away with that. And she would always say, what goes in that brain of yours can never be taken away by someone else. So education was key. She's also the person who told me in one of her wisdoms that the tears that we don't cry freeze in our hearts. So if I shed a few through this, bear with me. My dad was 7 years my mom's junior and is very much alive at age 88. He was the first to go to college in his family. UC Berkeley grad of early socialist persuasions. He had a grandmother who owned and ran a gas station and dry goods store in Richmond, California, a very blue-collar community in Northern California, for those of you who know it. She's an incredible woman. I never got to meet her, but I've heard plenty of stories from Dad. She was a registered communist in the McCarthy era. She helped with the Lincoln Brigade, getting people out of Spain during Franco's oppression, and she made sure Dad went on to college. And so my spiritual training went something like this. One Sunday it was with Mom at St. Agnes Catholic Church in Concord, California. The next Sunday it was going with Dad to Cecil Williams Glide Memorial Church in San Francisco, usually followed by an anti-war rally in Golden Gate Park. Mom would, it's amazing how these two backgrounds and influences tie together, because Mom would say, remind me, but for the grace of God go I, and Dad would say, political action and social justice are not spectator sports, son. Our work represented in this room makes a huge difference in the lives of others. Shelter is one of those basic necessities, and more importantly, we provide homes for those that have few options. While we might and one of my heroes through all of this is Dr. Jim O'Connell. He started the healthcare program for the homeless in Boston. And he would say on many occasions that if he could have one prescription pad, it would be a pad to have an affordable apartment for the clients that he was seeing, because that's really what he needed to adequately treat the homeless in Boston, and I really believe that as well. So while we may in this room sit around and complain about the sad state of funding, we are that prescription pad, and we cannot be shy in demanding some answers to that. We can provide the housing. We have the deep subsidy programs. That's what's required to house the homeless, and we need to be partnering up with those in that business if we're not doing it ourselves. So I look forward to NAHRO doing more of that, and I thank Preston for his leadership on that subject. It's just incredibly important work. It's been work that I loved, and I can't thank everybody in this room for being in the same business, for supporting the work that we do. As Preston and my mayor know, you can't end homelessness without a home, so we got to continue that fight. Our mayor, who's been incredible, going from being a housing authority commissioner to a councilwoman, now to our mayor. I'll make a small plug. She's my candidate for the 24th Congressional District. So if you live in the 24th Congressional District, we need a new congressperson, and she's going to be it as far as I'm concerned. So I'll leave you with one quote. My favorite quote comes from Franklin Roosevelt. I think it's particularly apropos in this time of growing inequality, and that's that the test of our progress is not whether we add to the abundance of those that have much. It's whether we provide enough for those that have too little. Thank you very much.
Right here, man. Right here. There we go. Excellent.